Okay, here we go. My name is Mark Deering. I'm an inker. I'm going to show you now how I prepare pencils for inking, which means basically how I convert them using Photoshop CS5, how I convert them to blue line, and then print out. Um, I do a lot of steps, including cleanup, file conversion, and then I make my own panel borders in Photoshop and label the page itself. That way it just makes it really quick and easy to print and just get to work. For production purposes, that means a whole lot. Um, for the most part, I start with all my pages in Grayscale format, and this right here is a typical page that I'll get either digitally or I'll get sent to me via FedEx from the penciler himself. Convert it to Grayscale. There we go, nice raw page. I go over here, I use the rectangle tool. I had my foreground set to white, rectangle tool, nice, perfectly even, whether the penciler draws a straight line or not. Boom, there you go, you have a panel border. Um, Typically I'll go over here to the new layer just created. Should be set to multiply. Down here on stroke, see that's set to the size width of 2. I'm going to go for about 6 because I like my panel borders to be a little bit thicker. Thicker panel borders also help to inform the way people read a comic. Also, the position should be set to center. That way there isn't a line through the center of the panel border and kind of odd looking. You'll never really see it unless you just squint really hard. There you have a panel border. Once your settings are set, you can pretty much continue to do it. There we go, all 3 panel borders. Next, for the cleanup, I'll go back to the background layer, highlight it. I'll use this here, keystroke. This is the keystroke M is the rectangular marquee tool, which pretty much selects everything you want. Hold the shift key down to select multiple ones. This is where I go in and pretty much clean up. All this stuff in the background is kind of unnecessary. For the practical portion of it, it's like if you were to leave this, change it all to blue, your printer works harder. Therefore, your printer ink works harder, and that just ends up costing you more money. So the more you kind of clear this all out, better it is. See, I've selected everything around the panel borders that I don't need. Go to fill, foreground color, which is white. Boom, there you have a nice white page. Your pencils are intact, your panel borders are made. The next step for me is to label it using the text tool. Starts off white usually. I just moved it, sorry. Highlight it, come up here, change it to black. You can also change your font, whichever you want. I'm going to bump this up to about 12. Makes it a little bit easier to read. This labeling is just for, so you know what page you're working on. When you turn it in, you know which page you're turning in. It's kind of one of those unwritten, untalked about things that, yeah, you do kind of need to know. You don't want a blank page going, I don't remember what this was. The penciler on this is Chris Batista, so I'll put both of our names on there. That way, for future use, I know who did it, who the penciler was. I rarely forget, but mainly for the original art sales. Yeah, you can sell these. Pretty much works that way. There we go. Page is labeled. You have all your layers over here. I go back to the background, and here's where we go to the color version. I can change the mode to RGB mode. Do not flatten, because you don't want the panel borders of the words to be changed to blue. and then you go to Image Adjustments, Hue Saturation. The other way to do it, keystroke wise, is Command U on a Mac. On a PC, I think it's Control U. I don't remember. Colorize first, hue 195, saturation 100. Lightness is where you get to play with it a little bit. The lower the number, the darker the blue. I usually go around 65. That keeps all the detail that you might need later on. 75 makes it a little bit lighter. Some things I've gone as light as 85. Just depends on what you want to do. Go back to 65. Okay. From here, I'll use the crop tool. I don't know where it is, but I know it's a keystroke of C. This will cut down the page because you don't need all of that per se. You probably don't even need as much as I'm leaving. Double click, there's your page. I go to image and size. Resolution is about 300. I always print at 300. Size is 9. Generally 9 by 13 is how I work. It's not the full 11 by 17 size simply because it's faster. All of this, all these steps I've just shown you make it all faster to get pages completed and done on time. You'll notice I did all that other stuff from the background. This is basically what your layers look like. The page is done. It is ready for printing. File, print. Boom, there you go. I have the Brother MFC 6490 CW printer. It's a fax scanner printer copier unit. Uses 4 ink cartridges. You can get online fairly cheap. The printer itself usually runs around 300 bucks, which is not bad because it scans 11 by 17 and it prints 11 by 17, which for an inker, that is exactly everything you need all in one unit. Nice and easy to use. From there you hit print. You load your paper up and off you go. I think that covers everything. There's a few other tools you can use. A lot of times these rectangles are not as simple. Those people that know Photoshop better than I do can probably tell you better. A lot of times you'll get a half panel or cropped panel in some way. Let's see, let me pick this one. Yeah, you see how this panel, the panel is kind of behind these panels. For that, you're not going to use it because you can't hide it simply. So a lot of times I'll use the simple line tool, which then you can draw each side at a time. Just like that. And then back here you can put the other panel. There you go. You can switch back to the rectangle tool and right here. Bingo. There's your panel borders. Really simple, really effective, and easy to do. No need to save it. But from here, you print, you have your blue lines ready to rock and roll. I think that about covers it. Any questions? Drop me a line. Thank you. See you around.